What is going on out there, peeps? All right, so let's go over the news in Iraq, and then I need to just kind of go over some things with you guys. Once again, uh, yeah, we'll get into it and I'll explain it to you. Then I'll show you, and then we will decide from there. Anyways, I love this picture. Nice little chunks of Iraqi dinar all over everywhere. All right, you guys, if you're thinking about buying precious metals, give a consideration to our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link is in the description. If you buy more than $100 worth of precious metals, please use promo code Pimpy, Pimpy, and get a free half ounce of silver. If you already got your free half ounce, you can't get any more. We have Pimpy's Investment Chat, same name as the YouTube channel. Over here, we talk about investment opportunities, gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments, all right? No politics there. Bring that over to here, which is the hidden things in front of your eyes. Over here, we do talk about politics, current events, QAnon, NESARA, GESARA, all right? You can talk about all those things. Just be respectful, okay? If you don't have Facebook, but you got Twitter, come join me over at Twitter. The link is in the description. All right, you guys. So let's get into this, and then we're going to break down something that was reported yesterday. All right. So I love how this is said. I told her not to spend it now. Baghdad sends more than 300 billion dinar to Erbil. So what had happened was, of course, you know this is part of the agreements, this is part of their salary. It was sent over to them. So anyways, an informed government source revealed that the central government has sent more than 300 billion dinars to the account of the Central Bank of Kurdistan region, allocated for salaries for the region's employees. The source said in an interview that the Ministry of Finance sent an amount of 320 billion dinars and placed it in the central bank branch in Erbil with the accounts of the Kurdistan regional government. Baghdad did not give the regional government a notice of disbursement so that it can disperse the salaries of the employees in the federal government as a first step. Well, that's kind of a major deal, don't you think? If people want to get paid, you kind of need a permission to do it. After paying the salaries of the employees in Baghdad, the notification will be given to disperse the amount of 320 billion dinars allocated for the salaries. After the entire regional government takes up the sums of the revenues it gets from the sales of oil and the proceeds from the outlets and other internal revenues, where the total number of salaries are 895 billion. That's, gosh dang, man, that's a lot. And disbursement will start in the middle of the week. So it seems to me like it sounds like they're dispersing it, but it doesn't sound like they got permission to do so. Nonetheless, it's a kind of a long article just talking about the fact that these people need to get paid their salaries. They need to go ahead and also take in consideration the revenues and the dues, as we just talked about. On the bottom here, it just says like this. On the other hand, a source confirmed to stop paying the salaries of the employees of the South and Central Financing Department and from all banks without exception, while they are awaiting the arrival of financing and special notifications from the Ministry of Finance to start the disbursement process. So they're getting their money. I know that was a concern. Again, we're waiting for the 2020 budget to get hammered out so that these people can figure out what the hell is going on with their monies. After a delay of 4 hours, the start of the parliament session for resolving electoral districts. I remember there's an article yesterday saying that they would just do a quick, brief meeting on Saturday to go over the electoral districts. That seems to be a problem for some reason. On Saturday, the Iraq parliament started a session to resolve the disputes over electoral districts in the new election law. Parliament was delayed for a meeting of 4 hours due to the lack of quorum for the number of members present due to the intensification of disputes between the political blocs regarding the electoral districts. According to the correspondence of the news, Parliament Speaker Halabasi opened the session in the presence of 179 deputies, which is not too bad because usually it's a little bit less than that. So anyways, it went on to say that, look, there's some tensions there that's holding it up. We'll see what happens. Two representative sources had previously informed the news of the possibility of postponing the session due to the difference Differences that still prevail over the topic of the sessions. Look, they need to get their act together. We got early elections coming here in less than 9 months. So, anyways, it's going back and forth on that one. The presidency of the Council of Representatives decided to postpone the session and continue disputes over departments. Again, this is the same as the article above. Sometimes they're a little bit more detailed than others. Finance gives good news to employees and retirees about September salaries. So that's what we're just reading about. So 320 billion, man, that's crazy to think about. 320 billion dinars was sent over to Kurdistan, but without the notice of disbursements. This is just an earlier article saying the salaries of the employees and retirees for the month of September are fully secure through the availability of finance liquidity. The delay in disbursing salaries is due to the technical problems with the technology of transferring money from the central bank to the accounts of the ministry, instruction or institutions, and state department banks. All right, so no big deal, just talking about the salaries again. The Iraq foreign minister arrives in Tehran to meet with senior Iranian officials. There's definitely something brewing over there. I told you that Trump has been meeting with Iran. They actually have talks going. I'm curious to see how this works out, considering I just did a video about them selling out to China in order to open up a surveillance state. Curious to see the outcome of this. The Iraq foreign minister Hussein arrived in Iran on Saturday morning for a 2-day visit. Iran media said that Hussein will meet with senior officials in the country to discuss ways to expand bilateral relations during the visit, which comes in response to the recent visit of Iranian foreign minister to Baghdad. Good. Tie up them agreements. Let's get them going. An informed source revealed what was reported by the U.S. Embassy to the presidency. So what was reported? The American Embassy informed the presidency of the Republic that it might close its headquarters in Baghdad if the bombing continues. I would imagine that's what the people who are anti-American want. That seems very strange to do when you just, yeah, very interesting. According to the source, the embassy confirms that the matter closer will greatly affect the bilateral relations between Washington and Baghdad, and it may be the beginning of the withdrawal of missions from Iraq. Well, they were going to leave anyway. So a source of the Office of the Presidency of the Republic said the U.S. Secretary of State Pompeo told the President Soleil that Washington would close its embassy in Baghdad unless it stopped targeting it with missiles. So the last I heard, there was a lot of investigation into who's launching these missiles at Baghdad. It seems that it should be a little bit more simpler to figure out who it is. Pompeo informed Soleil in the phone call that his country intends to close its embassy within a short period in case the embassy is not repeatedly targeted. The United States decided to reduce the period of exempting Iraq from preventing the import of electricity from Iran. As a result, the sanctions of Washington applied to Tehran from 120 to 60 days only. So, yeah, very interesting. Again, there's not a lot of exciting news. I will get to the part that I wanted to tell you about because, again, we'll go over it. Under the guidance of Al-Qaeda, the joint operations revealed a new method of ending the Iraq-Syrian files. The official in the Iraqi agency quoted the operations as saying the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, Al-Qaeda, directed the necessity to end the Iraq-Syrian border files. There's a new method for ending the Iraq-Syrian border files. The mechanism will include the initiations of installing thermal fences, which would be good with cameras. It's kind of like what we have here on the borders. But, I mean, I don't know what good it's going to do to stop people if they're blasting through them with missiles. At the joint operations announced a qualitative leap in security and intelligence efforts. The National Security Agency has arrested the terrorists overseeing the massacres. Well, if they already got the terrorists, good deal. Anyways, I'm just going to get to the article I was talking about. So yesterday, this was brought up in another video, and all kinds of hoopla was raised for it, and again, all kinds of people came in a group and were like, yay! It says something about the budget and the rate change. I said, it doesn't say anything about that whatsoever. So I went and I watched the video, because you guys, I want to see what the hell you guys were talking about. So once again, there's a misunderstanding of what's being said. So let's review this. It says the Parliamentary Finance Committee Friday saw that the government reform papers will draw a new financial map. While we indicated that the approval of the 2020 budget will achieve many demands, including the new appointees and the free electors. Okay, so I don't know where you get that the rate change is going to be in the 2020 budget. All it said is they got the reform papers. Based on the reform papers, they intend to draw a new financial map. While we indicated that the approval of the 2020 budget will achieve many demands. And so that achieve many demands made everybody go, oh, that's the rate change. No, you got to understand that when they convert these things into English, the wording is a little bit different. So the many demands are your normal expenses within the budget. You got people on welfare, you got people on unemployment, you got people on disability, you have money for the needs of infrastructure, schools, healthcare, hospitals. That's what they're talking about. They're not talking about demands of protesters. Nowhere in there does it say protesters. When they talk about protesters, they specifically say meets the demands of the protester. The demands they're talking about is the demands or the needs is what it should say of the government. That's what it's talking about. Then if you go to the next paragraph, it tells you the official agency of the committee revised its stipulation, which means revised its demand, that the government reform papers will draw a new financial map. It's saying it has reversed its demand on that part. See them in quotation? That's the part they're talking about that's being reversed. The government reform papers will draw a new financial map. Pay attention here. We're talking about English. All right? See what it says? The official agency of the committee reversed its demand or stipulation. And the part they're highlighting is that. See them in quotations? The part that they're talking about that they reversed is the government's reform paper will draw a new financial map. So that's the part or the demand that they have reversed. Okay? But if you continue, it says stressing that they're talking about the reform paper, needs deliberation, study, planning, and consultation. So in other words, they still have to continue to review the reform papers. Do you see what I'm saying? It says right there, it's clear as day. Stressing that the reform papers, needs deliberation, study, planning, and consultation. So they're still going over the reform papers. The 2020 budget, I know, look, we know, I get it. I remember last year, Jeff told everybody when the market hit like 22,000, the rate change was going to happen. Then it didn't happen. He said, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The rate change is going to change, and it didn't happen. Then it was God told him that when the ISX opens up again, the rate change was there. Then it didn't happen. Then he changed it to no, when the auctions start up again, then the rate change will be there, and it didn't happen. Then you were told about gematria numbers, and it was going to change, and it didn't happen. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I get that there's other people out there giving the same information. What I'm saying to you is just be grounded about it. All right? Think at things rationally. If you'd have read the paragraph or just this article itself that he was harping all over and jumping up and down about, you'd have seen that that's not what the wording says. It tells you as clear as day. The 2020 budget will achieve many demands. That's the demands or the needs of the government. It's not talking about protesters, not whatsoever. Remember, when they translate these things, wording is a little different. So the demands are the needs, and they're talking about the needs of the government. And then I already told you about the new appointees and the free electors. The new appointees, these are people, you have a group of people that are retiring, a group of people that are being hired, a group of people who have been promoted, a group of people who are getting raises. All that has to be in the 2020 budget as part of their constitution, so it could be integrated into the 2021 budget. Do you see what I'm saying? Then you go down to the next paragraph. Once again, the official agency of the committee reversed its stipulation. Stipulation means demand. And then you see how it says over there, it says that, and then it's in quotations. The part that's in quotations is what they're saying they've changed. The government's reform papers will draw a new financial map. That's the part they're changing. And why are they changing it? They tell you right after. It says the reform papers needs deliberation, study, planning, and consultation. It noted that approving the 2020 budget would achieve many demands, including the new appointees and electors. So again, the 2020 budget is needed because it will take care of some of the needs of the government. Nowhere in there does it say anything about a rate change whatsoever. And just because it says meets the demands, they're just talking about the needs, all right? But you could see they're telling you that the reform papers need further review, but the 2020 budget must be done. Okay, again, you guys always make me the bad guy, peeing all in your Wheaties, man. That's not what it's about. What I'm trying to say is when you hear information from other people, just stay grounded. You know, the truth of the matter is everybody's speculating. That's why we try to avoid dates, rates, and assumptions. We know the finance minister told everybody that the exchange rate is being discussed in the reform papers. It's being reviewed. There's no guarantee they'll do it. I can't imagine them not doing it considering they got a lot of projects and a lot of stuff that needs to be done, including rebuilding Iraq. But what I'm trying to say to you is just stay grounded. People always ask me, in your opinion, what do you think? My opinion? I thought it was going to be done in 2020, to be quite honest with you. There's many signs pointing that direction. Still could be done. We'll see. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is when you read these paragraphs, you got to think about how you're reading them. Okay, so a lot of you guys got all overhyped and you're like, yay, I'm like, no, it's not. The other person's need to feel like they're the first person to tell you something or the most accurate when they're religiously wrong is really, come on, guys. If you've been following them long enough, you know better. Seriously, you should know better. That's not what this, what you're being told this means is not what it means. All right. Again, the demands are the need of the government. That's all it is. We already know that there's a lot of things the government needs and they don't have enough money, that a rate change would benefit them. All right. We know that the rate change is being discussed, or the exchange rate is being discussed in the reform papers. But all it is being reviewed and discussed. So I just wanted to tell you, okay, I get it. Just stay grounded. But did you read the paragraph? Did you read the article properly? I know you guys listened to the video and it was a misunderstanding of what was read. That's okay. It happens sometimes, but it's not like you're being told. All right. All right, you guys, that's it for now. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. I'll catch you guys later.